Monday number 2, and we are broadcasting on the Facebook page of Popular Resistance and Food Not Bombs and the Song News Network and various other platforms on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, VK, whatever platform you might be watching on. Feel free to share the window and let folks know it's happening. And if anybody out there wants to sign up for a future open mic, that's where they can do it right there. davidrovics.com/POMM Pandemic Open Mic Mondays. And we have a wonderfully full roster of musicians and poets and storyteller and all kinds of folks who have signed up and are coming soon over the next course of the next couple hours or so. And we have so many people who have signed up, in fact, that I figure that today is a one song or one poem kind of open mic. Not terribly surprising given the international thing that people would find it. It's much different from running an open mic locally in some little suburb of Boston, which is my main experience with hosting open mics prior to last week. And I can see comments and questions and stuff coming at me on various platforms, whichever one you might be watching on. And if you are an open mic participant and you've gotten an email with the link to the broadcast studio, like I might have mentioned in the link, if you're not already waiting in the queue, then you just click the link somewhere down the line. But for now, we have 6 folks waiting in the queue or the line or whatever it's called, depending on which side of the Atlantic. And the virtual green room, which actually holds more people than I thought. So that's, you just, if you got the link, feel free to click it or just wait a while and click it later. Either way, we'll be here for some time. And I will kick off the open mic with a song, as I always used to do when I actually ran open mics in the suburbs of Boston and Connecticut. And then I'll turn it over to a whole selection of wonderful guests. And of course, I'm still new enough at live streaming that I always wonder when I start talking if anybody can hear me. So if anybody feels like saying like, "Oh, you sound great," or "I can't hear a word," let's see, there's a private chat window. Maybe that's where people are saying, "Hey, I can't hear a thing." Oh, good. No, they can. Okay, the private chat window. All the folks who are guests coming on can chat with each other, I believe, as well as with me. I think they can all see that. That's nice. It is like a green room, and good. Thank you. I always feel so much better once somebody says I can hear you. I don't know what that is, but I guess it's the lack of a producer. When you don't have a producer or an engineer or anything else, you want to know these things. So if we were in we were in a cafe, I'd be making coffee for you guys too. But although I don't know, hosting an open mic and being a barista, that might have to have a separate barista. But a pandemic is spreading. The health system's collapsing. You can watch it all unfolding on the screen. If you're afraid to go outside, enough groceries to hide, it may have been weeks since you have seen someone you can touch, and you miss it so much as you wonder what might happen next. Like when your savings run out and the choice is all about what kind of help you might be able to expect. Or perhaps when COVID arrived, while some struggled to survive, you were what they call essential. It didn't take long to see you got that wrong. The word they really meant was expendable. It didn't take long to see there was no emergency. Plans in place for something which all the scientists knew was just a matter of when there'd be a pandemic again, and the kleptocrats in power didn't have a clue. Otherwise, why did Jason Hargrove die? Because he kept keeping on, waking before dawn to do his part for society. Jason drove his bus, he didn't even make a fuss at the time of the impropriety. Somebody coughed, the virus was off. Not 2 weeks later, Jason would be dead. What if he had protective gear, with sick passengers so near, with no barrier to protect his head? Why did Jason Hargrove die? Stay home, flatten the curve, they say, unless we need you to serve food for us or care for all the ill. In that case, we'll call you a hero, like the workers at Ground Zero, where one by one the cemetery filled. Now in every bus and truck, the drivers try their luck, essentially told, thank you for your service. If these were the front lines, no one put up any signs. Did anybody sign up for this? Why did Jason Hargrove die? Once the death rate peaks, in days or months or weeks, with each one of the virus's waves. Once we can take stock and recover from the shock of the sight of all of the mass graves. Will this be the impetus, this driver on a bus, along with so many, many more? The nurses and the prisoners, seafarers and farm workers, what will they all die for? Why did Jason Hargrove die? Why did Jason Hargrove die? And with no further ado, here we are. Oh, it's wonderful to see comments coming in, and it feels like it's really happening. And we are going to move right on to our first guest. We have people watching on all sorts of different platforms now, and I am joined now by Lucy Murphy, who hey, wonderful to see you, Lucy. And last time I saw you was, I think, a couple years ago in North Carolina at that wonderful little event with people.
At the Hayti Center for a Southern Anti-Racism Network.
That's right. The anniversary of the foundation of the Southern Anti-Racism Network. Yes, SARN. Yes. Wonderful. And are you in North Carolina now? Or where are you now?
I'm in the annex of North Carolina known as Washington, D.C.
The annex. Interesting. I like that.
Yes. And I was really inspired by your rap before we came on, talking about tenants and landlords and such. And I was thinking I should do my song, since I've only written one song and it's for tenants and landlords. I thought I would do that.
Oh,
but
perfect.
I have a responsibility. I'm here with a circle of friends from People's Music Network. And, we have our weekly song and poetry swaps. And I'm actually stage managing for the May 29th, dedicated to Nueva Canción.
Excellent.
And so I want to put it out to folks that
Yes.
to get in touch with us. If you sing something from the tradition of Nueva Canción, and in Spanish, Creole, Portuguese, or any other language from the Americas. And I'm going to sing a song from Violeta Parra of Chile, Gracias a la vida, thanks to life.
Wonderful.
Because those of us who are still alive need to express our thanks.
Wonderful.
Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, me dio dos luceros que cuando los abro, perfecto distingo lo negro del blanco, en el alto cielo su fondo estrellado, y en las multitudes el hombre que yo amo. Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, me ha dado el oído que en todo su ancho graba noche y día, grillos y canarios, martillos, turbinas, ladridos, chubascos, y la voz tan tierna de mi bien amado. Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, me ha dado el sonido y el abecedario, con él las palabras que pienso y declaro, madre, amigo, hermano, y luz alumbrando la ruta del alma del que estoy amando. Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, me ha dado la marcha de mis pies cansados, con ellos anduve ciudades y charcos, playas y desiertos, montañas y llanos, y la casa tuya, tu calle y tu patio. Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, me dio el corazón que agita su marco cuando miro al fruto del cerebro humano, cuando miro al bueno tan lejos del malo, cuando miro al fondo de tus ojos pardos, cuando miro al fondo de tus ojos negros. Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto, me ha dado la risa y me ha dado el llanto. Así yo distingo dicha de quebranto, los dos materiales que forman mi canto, y el canto de ustedes que es el mismo canto, y el canto de todos que es mi propio canto. Gracias a la vida.
Gorgeous. Lucy Murphy, thank you so much.
Thank you, David
Rovics. To
Rovics.
life. And peoplesmusic.org. You can find People's Music Network on Facebook as well, and check out what's going on May 29th. That Lucy, if you got some nueva canción to contribute. Excellent. Thanks again, Lucy. See you soon. And coming right up here, we have Charlie King, who is in another location on the East Coast, further north. There's
yeah. The famous little town of Shelburne Falls.
Shelburne Falls. Are the birds chirping out there? Is that an open window?
Oh yeah, the birds are chirping. Trees are blossoming. We're a little behind the rest of the world, but actually spring arrived this weekend, so it's quite welcome.
Wonderful. And are you doing any particular online activities these days under quarantine, or I assume you've had a lot of gigs canceled? Yes, please. We want to know.
Just following on Lucy's lead, the peoplesmusic.org is sponsoring these song swaps every week, and on May 15th. Eve Goldberg and myself will be hosting an evening of songs by John Prine, which people would be most welcome to listen in on. So that's listed on our homepage, and will be broadcast on Facebook 7:30 on May 15th.
Fantastic. And I'm just a little what do you call it? Management note or what? No, there's another word for this. But anyway, somebody, I'm gonna just anybody who was just on, I'm gonna kick you out of the studio. Nothing personal, but then if to watch the open mic, you can watch it on another platform like twitch.tv/David Rovics, or on the Popular Resistance Facebook page, or at the Pandemic open mic page, like right here, davidrovics.com/POMM. But just so you know, that's I'm making room for more people to come in and kicking previous guests out of the studio. And sorry to make that little what is that? What is the name of that kind of announcement? It's like, other than really annoying, like it's I don't know. Housekeeping. That's okay. Anyway, sorry, Charlie King.
Still here.
Yeah. And Charlie in Shelburne Falls, Massachusetts. There. And did you have a lot of tour plans that were canceled by the pandemic? We have to know.
Yeah, we were poised to go on tour with the Prince Michigans on March 15th, and we canceled on March 13th, and that whole tour fell apart. And then the follow-up tour fell apart, and then we just stopped trying. So
yeah. There was a follow-up tour that also fell apart. You were really persistent.
A follow-up solo tour, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, like everybody. And I was supposed to probably put about 4,000 miles, 4,000 or 5,000 miles on my car. I filled up my tank on March 13th, and I'm down a quarter of a tank so far 7 weeks later. So that's good for the planet.
That's good, right? The air is so fresh.
Better than my song.
I never drive anymore either. You got a song for us?
Well, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's I've never sung it before, so that's always a bad idea. It's a derivative song, and it's kind of strange, but the derivation of it is comes from an Eric Bogle song. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as we stopped to bury our slain. We buried ours, and the Turks buried theirs, and it started all over again. So that's the name of my song, All Over Again. Blue skies over China, the streams running clear, their best, brightest season in many a year. Factories shuttered, coal plants shut down, the satellite image is brilliant. In Wuhan and Beijing, bright faces appear to breezily breathe in the new atmosphere. They are dreamily dazed as they're walking around, while the streets are very near silent. They can't help but wonder how long it will last. The old ones remember sweet scenes from the past, but the engines of commerce will never turn back. Let the Politburo say amen. For power needs power, its hunger is vast, to trade those blue skies for a grim overcast, for a serpent that curls from each tower and stack. It has started all over again. And why would they ever want to go back? Why would they ever go back? The White House and Wall Street each offer their cure, with remedies wrapped in the vestments of war. The wagons are circling, flags are unfurled. The cure looks a lot like the cause. Their approval rates rise with each fact they ignore, determined to make it look just like before. Is it possible people all over this world would be better off just to hit pause? This may be our last chance to try to stand still. Give the ice cap a break as we hunker and chill, at ease with the silence, at home in the dark. Let the ancestors say amen. So lean out and stare from the world's windowsill. There are rainbows to savor, there is soil to till. Like Eve from the garden and Noah from the ark, can we start all over again? And why would we ever want to go back? Why would we ever go back?
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Charlie King. Wonderful.
Thank you, David.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll just let's see, move on here to the next guest.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing Paul and Marcia and Bev.
Yeah.
It's like
me too.
old home week.
Isn't it? It's like a gathering of well, actually, you'll see. It's a very interesting gathering. Sometimes you feel like you're in a living room in New York, and then suddenly you move to Birmingham. You'll see. It's. Thank you so much, Charlie, and hope to see you here again. And everybody, join that song swap on May 15th. May 15th, People's Music.
Yes.
Check it out. People's Music Network. Thank you. And coming right up, speaking of People's Music Network, we have a third person in a row who I first met at People's Music Network. This is Paul Kaplan. Also, you're in New York too, or not? Not too. He was just in Massachusetts. But are you in New York, or where are you?
I'm in Amherst, Massachusetts.
Oh, you're a neighbor of Charlie's almost.
Stone's throw from Charlie. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And are you? What have you been doing since quarantine? How has your career collapsed, and what are you doing online?
Well, fortunately, my major source of income is as a music teacher, so I'm being paid, which is quite lucky. But I've been doing a whole lot more music than usual, actually, because of the situation. The PMN song swaps that you've already heard so much about, and poetry swaps, and also hosting the song and story swap from the Pioneer Valley Folklore Society, which has been very successful. Instead of local people, just like this, since we can bring in people from all around the world.
And it turns out there's people interested in Pioneer Valley folklore who aren't from Western Massachusetts, huh?
Somehow.
Yeah. Where do people, I guess, Pioneer Valley folklore, I mean, if you stick that in a search engine, you probably come up with it. But
pvfs.us. But yeah, you can just either way. So I'd really like to thank you for having me be a part of this, and from all of us. It's great. I know it's a lot of work.
Oh, it's a lot of fun too. I mean, you got to have structure to your life. I find if you're not touring, you got to do something. So I always wanted to do an online open mic. Yeah,
here we are.
Yeah. What do you got for us?
Okay, so this is a new song. Most of you probably are familiar with "Those Were the Days." Die, 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 die. This is "These Are the Days." And it seems somewhat liberating to get into that die, 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 die part. So feel free to join in wherever you are. Once upon a time, our lives were normal. We'd sit around in groups, remember groups. Remember how we'd pass away the hours, sitting in a bar or on our stoops. These are the days, my friend, when will they ever end? I've been inside forever and a day. I'd like to leave this spot but I don't have a yacht, so I'm afraid I'll never get away. Da 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 da. In the town of Wuhan was a market selling wild boar and pangolin. A virus spread and people had to shelter, and they would sing these words in Mandarin. These are the days, my friend, when will they ever end? I've been inside forever and a day. But still they say this spot is really way too hot. These are the days, oh yes, these are the days. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Then the virus spread to every country, but it spared the good old USA. Luckily, our president's a genius, so he made the whole thing go. Wait a minute, wait. That's not how the song goes. My song was just Zoom bombed. The third verse really goes like this. Then the virus spread to every country. Now inside the house we have to stay. When I try to teach my kids their lessons, I see teachers ought to get more pay. These are the days, my friend, when will they ever end? I've been inside forever and a day. I'd like to leave this spot before I start to rot. These are the days, oh yes, these are the days. Die, 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 die. The president has offered a solution. Maybe that will work, or maybe not. I think that vaccination is the answer to inoculate us from this idiot. These are the days, my friend, when will they ever end? I've been inside forever and a day, but I'll stay in this spot till I can get a shot. These are the days, oh yes, these are the days. Da 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 da
Fantastic. That was great. And I'm so glad I'm not the only one sitting around here writing songs about viruses. You know, that's also a viral phenomenon.
It's all gone viral, hasn't it?
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And remind us of where people can find your online activities that you're doing.
Well, the Pioneer Valley Folklore Society, it's at pvfs.us.
Pioneer Valley Folklore Society. Yeah. Excellent. Good.
Right.
Good. Thank you so much. See you soon again here, I hope.
Good.
And moving on to our next guest, we have Marcia Taylor. Yeah. Hello. Let's see. We can hear you, right? Say something. Oh, let's see. Is this on my end?
There we go.
There we go. Excellent. And how has your life fallen apart in the past 2 months? And what have you been doing online? It's like the standard question. I think it's always of interest, you know.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, I like Paul. I have made most of my living in the recent years with teaching music. And I quit my day job, and I was teaching private lessons happily, and I'm teaching private lessons on Zoom now. And I'm a little bit surprised that it actually works. And it does after a fashion. So I'm doing that. I'm continuing to write songs. I'm active with Rhode Island Songwriters Association. I'm here in Little Rhodey, just south of Boston. And I'm active with RISA. I'm active with People's Music Network.
Mm.
And
what's Rise Up?
I'm sorry?
You're active with Rise Up, you said? What's Rise Up?
RISA.
Oh, RISA.
Which is an acronym for Rhode Island Songwriters Association.
Ah, cool.
Good organization, very, very high quality. I'm delivering meals for Meals on Wheels, and trying not to overeat as I've been quarantined. It's a challenge. It's better since the weather has broken a little bit.
Excellent. And I know everybody around here is dyeing their hair while they're in quarantine. Is that something you just decided to do, or is that something you do anyway?
Oh, it's just, I see, I'm a little, there it is. This is my little freak flag. I just let it fly.
Yeah, good. My daughter dyed her hair sort of an orangish kind of red. Well,
I like this because I can just wash it out in the shower. So, if I don't like it, it's gone. So.
What do you got for us?
Well, I have another viral song.
Excellent.
And it's about fear, which is a serious topic. And I, like anyone, am prone to fear, but I understand that fear is we can be so manipulated by our fears. And I'm cultivating the idea that this time of quarantine and tragedy and trying to figure out a new way to go is a time for us to ask new questions and a time for us to envision an opportunity for a better way of living. So I feel like if each blade of grass does that, if every little piece of the grassroots does that, things could be better on the other side. And let's go for that. Let's hope for that. So this was a song I wrote in response to the fears that I was experiencing. And it's called I'm Cleaning Out My Mind. This viral pandemic is having its way. We're self-quarantining and home we must stay. We don't touch our faces, we're washing our hands. We're socially distant as these times demand. I will admit it, no ifs, ands, or buts. I was beginning to go a bit nuts, but COVID-19's got nothing on me. I've got a project that's keeping me busy. I'm cleaning out my attic. I'm purging my basement too. If this is a treasure hunt, where's the map? Mostly I'm finding tons of crap. Sorry, my picture just went away. I've emptied out the junk drawer. The closet's next in line. But the scariest part of all I find is cleaning out my mind. Who would have thought that below my subconscious, where I am reluctant to go, there lurked such a terrible cohort of demons, a veritable horror show. Victims of zombie apocalypse long to kiss me on the lips. Coronaviruses reach out to caress me with viral fingertips. So I'm cleaning out my attic. I'm purging my basement too. How can I donate to charity? I wouldn't wish this on my enemy. I've emptied out the junk drawer. The closet's next in line. But the scariest part of all I find is cleaning out my mind. Oh, please check on me from time to time. I'm cleaning out my mind.
Fantastic. Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is speaks to a lot of people right now. Yeah.
So I'm active on my website.
Oh, what's the website?
MarciaTaylorMusic.com.
MarciaTaylorMusic.com. Great.
Right.
And people who want to sign up for online lessons that they maybe never bother doing, and they might be in a whole other part of the world. And
yes, this is your moment. Ukulele too.
Oh, excellent. Great. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, David.
And now we are moving all the way to the other side of the Atlantic to Birmingham, England, assuming you're at home. And you are at home. I can tell you're at home. I can see your refrigerator. Great to see you, Dave. How are you holding up in these days of quarantine? Oh, wait a sec. We're having an audio issue here. We can't. Oh, there you are. There you are.
Got me?
I can hear you now.
Is that all right?
Gotcha. Yep. Great.
Yeah,
great.
fun. I mean, I work with Banner Theatre. We would have been touring a show about the privatisation of the NHS, which we don't think is a good thing, by the way, which is going on apace at the moment. And so it's slightly ironic that, we're in a situation where the NHS has been ripped to pieces. And at the same time, our government is applauding how wonderful they are after spending the last 20 years cutting it to bits.
Yeah.
So all our gigs have disappeared, basically. So I'm going to seriously rewrite our current touring production to link it to the COVID-19 situation.
Right. Yeah, because like all of a sudden, material that you might have been developing, it seems a lot like kind of stale. Like is that kind of? I mean, I feel like that. It's moments like these. Whatever I just wrote a couple months ago is like, oh, that's totally irrelevant now, almost. But of course, the falling apart of the NHS.
Political songs just keep evolving. You write one, and then like a year later, it's out of date, and you have to rewrite it and change and add things to it, or you write a new song. So but I mean, we've been. I mean, the previous crisis we focused on when we were doing the show, which is called Free for All, was the winter crisis 2 years ago, when the NHS nearly fell to bits because of loads of people getting flu and stuff like that, being cut to death year after year after year. So now, I mean, we're in a completely different ball game with the media spin that's going on around how wonderful our government is doing in coping with supporting the NHS, clapping every Thursday, when it's totally ironic.
After decades of gutting it.
Decades of cuts. Yeah. Well, privatisation by stealth. As Thatcher said, if you're going to do it by stealth. And both governments have done that over the past 20 years.
Sneaky things, huh? Like what kinds of? Yeah. I mean, I can see how that it would apply to the housing market, like allowing people to buy their council housing, which obviously creates a housing crisis ultimately. Although some people might like it at the beginning, but how did that stealth work with the NHS?
Oh well, it's a process of like opening it up. At one time, it was when NIBEV formed it in 1948, it was a universal health service for all. Free at the point of delivery and free into everything, including medicines and the stuff you get now from the pharmacy. It was all free. Eyes, ears, the lot was free. And then bit by bit, they brought in prescription charges, and bit by bit, they've opened the profit-making potential areas to private companies to come in. And the current boss of the NHS, Simon Stevens, used to work for Health Corporation of America, and his speciality was privatizing public health services. So it's pretty clear where we're going, although they would never say that publicly.
Right. And I know you switching gears here. You got regular online activity going on with the Political Song Network group. What's it called? You got a regular thing going on online that people can join.
There's various. Pam Bishop runs Political Song Network, and I've got friends who are organizing a kind of every couple of months we have a a political social online, which seems to be working quite well.
Where can people find out about those things? Do you know? Is there like a website or something like that, or a Facebook page or anything? Political Song Network Birmingham. That should.
I think it's Political Song Network. Yeah, I think if Pam is listening at the moment, she'll send a link through.
Yeah, if I were more organized. Actually, while you're doing a song, I'm going to look that up. So, what do you got for us, Dave?
Okay, let me get my guitar. Well, our show is very much based on interviews with people who work in the health service. And I was talking to a guy over the weekend who was a paramedic who we interviewed, and I was asking about how things were going. He said it's a total media spin about how the government's coping and the NHS is coping. It's like it just, after I spoke to him, he just spent 3 hours calming down the paramedic who, when he asked him how he was doing, he just broke down in tears because the pressure people are on the front line is unbelievable. So this country used to have the best healthcare service in the world, and Professor Dorlin at Oxford University predicted in 2016, 4 years ago, as a result of cutbacks, the NHS would be woefully unable to provide enough clinical staff, ventilators, ICU beds, or mass testing to contain any future pandemic. In the same year, a full-scale pandemic exercise, Operation Cygnus, involving all government departments, was held in London. The conclusions of both were suppressed, and now the chickens are coming home to roost. This song is a joint production between myself and my partner here, Antonia Dada, and it's based on real-life stories of people that we've gleaned off the internet. That's how Banner works. We get people's stories and turn them into songs. So it's a new song. Here we go. On the streets of Glasgow, Willie sleeps on the floor. The city is deserted, there's no offerings for the poor. Course I'm scared, I'm very scared, Willie says to his mate. No home or roof above our beds, how do we isolate? No government relief, despite the media din. The homeless are forgotten, thrown in the garbage bin. Locked away in prison, Sharifa finds no peace. One more pregnant woman pleading for release. The Ministry of Justice confirms she is high risk, but she's just another convict. Who cares if she gets sick? No government relief, despite the media din. Prisoners forgotten, lost in the viral spin. My life will not be safe, so said young Lucy Watts. The rules of this pandemic mean she'll be left to rot. The frail, the sick, the challenged are low on the viral queue. No right to decent health care or a ventilator crew. No government relief, despite the media din. Disabled folk forgotten, lives tossed into the wind. Cafe reservations were not going right. The next thing Eric knew, it was all gone overnight. Jobs are disappearing in Italy, France and Spain. One more part-time worker, bottom of the chain. No government relief, despite the media din. The workers are forgotten, no union to step in. Flags they fly in Liverpool for Elizabeth Glanister. She risked her life for others, so said the minister. Without frontline protection, 3 more nurses fall. Victims of a system that never was meant for all. No government relief, despite the media din. Even heroes are forgotten, still no tests are in. Barbara lived a long life, so the story goes. Just another care home death, no one needs to know. She was asked to sign the order, do not resuscitate. 4,000 faceless figures buried by the state. No government relief, despite the media din. The elderly forgotten, the mask is wearing thin. Whose lives are remembered, whose lives are forgot, whose work is essential, whose work will be lost. Unless you're rich and powerful, they'll never see your face. You don't count for nothing if you're outside the marketplace. No government relief, despite the media din. When the people are forgotten, the fight back must begin. No government relief, despite the media din. When the people are forgotten, the fight back must begin.
Fantastic. Dave Rogers, Banner Theater. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thanks, David.
Hope to see you again here in cyberspace and in Birmingham too, eventually.
Sounds good.
Talk to you soon. Dave Rogers, Banner Theater, Birmingham, England, and the group that we were talking about there that is doing regular online stuff in Zoom with fantastic songwriters like Dave and Pam Bishop there in Birmingham and other folks is actually called Sing Political. At Sing Political is their Twitter handle. I looked it up, and this is the highest quality open mic I've ever hosted, but that's, you find better quality around the planet than you do just in the suburbs of Boston. Nothing against the suburbs of Boston. But here we are moving to, I believe, Brooklyn, New York. Are we in Brooklyn, Bev?
We are
Bev.
in Brooklyn.
Wonderful. Bev
That was
Grant.
a great song, Dave.
Oh,
Really.
man.
Oh.
Yeah. Whew. And what's happening in Brooklyn? Did your career fall apart and you're doing things online? Or
March is usually my biggest month as far as making any money.
Right.
At music, because I do a women's labor history show. They all got canceled, so. But, I'm making good use of my time, I think, and not feeling depressed particularly, except for the political situation. That's a big one, but.
Yeah, that's other than the world, other than the elephant in the living room. And but, did the women's history move online? Is that going online?
Well, that's complicated because it uses many different people. It's a cast of 13 who read the parts while images are projected, and I don't think I have the technology to pull it together that way. But it'll be back in, when it's live.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm writing songs, and I'm sure, and I'm hearing that everybody else is as well. I was going to do something I'm working on that it's just, some songs they write themselves sort of, others take months. And I was going to sing one of those ones that takes months, but I decided to stick with the topic here. And
okay. The virus?
The virus,
it never gets old these days,
I know.
It's like 24/7 virus, Yeah.
And I take walks every day, and I do a lot of social media.
What's
Zoom.
it like taking walks in Brooklyn? I mean, is it hard to stay distant enough from people? It's such population density, not like Manhattan, but it's still a lot of people.
Yeah, no, it's not that hard.
Right.
I just walk in the streets. Sometimes I'll go to the park. There's Prospect Park, which is just 3 blocks away from me. That on the weekends I avoid because people go there and you get really close. But, I'll just walk down empty blocks and I have my mask on, and people are pretty good in this neighborhood, not always putting their masks on, but I feel reasonably safe, and I'm staying in the rest of the time. I'm an endangered individual because of my age, which doesn't feel like it, but it's okay. I'm enjoying the solitude, and I conduct my chorus every Tuesday night on Zoom.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Is that something that's just for the chorus members? It's not something people can just participate in from if they're
right.
like, yeah.
Although there have been a couple people who have joined since this has happened, because one member who moved to Florida, she now can, Zoom in with us.
Nice.
And another woman who can't go out at night, who's been wanting to be in the chorus for years, she's now joining. So
what's the chorus called? Where can people find out?
Brooklyn Women's Chorus.
Oh, great.
And we've been together about 23 years. So, it's
Wonderful.
just important to keep the connection going. There's
Absolutely.
no synchronicity happening musically. It's just me singing and them, everybody else muted, singing along. But occasionally I'll put on a recording that they can sing with, and then it makes it feel more like a chorus. So.
Yeah.
What
you got for us?
We take up too much time.
Oh, no. We got time.
We got time.
We got time.
Who's coming up? People would like to know who's coming up.
Oh, that's a really good point, Bev. I should be actually like giving people some warning that they're coming up at this point, because they don't know. Yeah, we got Pat Lamana. It's a collective effort. This open mic. People can remind me. What are you supposed to do? Like tell people they're coming up.
Right.
Yeah, I think you knew. Maybe you no. After you, nobody knows what's going on.
Right.
Which is but that's Pat Lamana is next, and then Bernard Puckett, and then Dave Littman. So that's who's coming up in the
Lindsey
immediate
get in
future.
Because she
very good question. Did she? So there have been people
is.
trying to get in, and then let me look down here.
Because
Beverly Woods, Chris Coolidge, Lindsey. Oh, and then Lindsey just disappeared. Oh, and Lindsey was there and then disappeared. I'm sorry, Lindsey. There you are. Good. Lindsey's there, cool. And then we're gonna change the order. And Lindsey is going to come up next, okay? So, yeah, good. After Bev, then Lindsey, thank you so much for mentioning that. I was looking out for Lindsey at the beginning, and then I lost track of everything. So great to have reminders of what's going on. This is Bev Grant. Here we go.
All right. This is called the Stay-at-Home Coronavirus COVID-19 Blues. And I should say, you can see my work on YouTube and on my Facebook page, Bev Grant, and my website, bevgrant.com. Oh, I did that wrong. I don't have a fever. I'm not coughing. Take my temperature every so often. I watch the news, try to follow the rules. I got to stay at home, coronavirus, COVID-19 blues. I used to work from 9 to 5. Now I stay home, trying to stay alive. No one's saying who's gonna be paying my dues. I got to stay at home, coronavirus, COVID-19 blues. I keep my distance when I go outside, get some groceries or some exercise. I wash my hands till they're squeaky clean. 20 seconds, scrub top and bottom and in between. I've read all my books, clean each nook and cranny. I miss my grandsons, they miss their granny. Gonna take off my shoes, guess I'll take a snooze. I got to stay at home, coronavirus, COVID-19 blues. I don't know if you can hear this. Might be better if you can. is when I go outside to get some groceries or some much needed exercise. I wash my hands till they're squeaky clean. For 20 seconds, I scrub top and bottom, and in between, I've read all my books, cleaned each nook and cranny. I miss my grandsons, I know they miss their granny. Gonna take off my shoes, guess I'll take a snooze. I got to stay at home. Coronavirus, COVID-19 blues. Yeah, I got to stay at home. Coronavirus, COVID-19 blues.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Bev Grant, thank you so much. And yeah, see you again soon at the open mic, I hope. And
yes, I will definitely sign up again.
Excellent. Wonderful. And we're going to move on to Lindsey.
Yay, Lindsey.
And let's see, where's Lindsey? Here we are.
Hello.
Lindsey. Hey.
Hi. How are you?
Lindsey
Thank you
Wilson,
so much.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you for having me.
Are you also in New York there?
I am in New York. I'm in Brooklyn as well.
All right.
Also in Brooklyn. Yeah, trying to keep it together, working remotely. I work as a career coach for a wonderful nonprofit organization called Eckerd Connects. And I work with young adults between 16 and 24, trying to keep them engaged during all this, which is really an interesting, wonderful challenge. But I'm happy to be, working and still being able to do my music, and it's all good. And I really appreciate you inviting me to this event.
I appreciate you joining. And what kinds of online stuff have you been doing since everything started with music? You've probably moved your music online like everybody else.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because I've done some Zoom events with songs in the key of resistance, which is the Poor People's Campaign. I've worked with them and done some song swaps with them that have been amazing. And I have attempted to do the People's Music Network, but I haven't been able to get there on time because of my schedule. And yesterday I just did a live Facebook performance, which was very interesting and exciting. And I was able to share some of my songs with folks. And I have really not been on the scene because I just got this job. Actually, the timing between the coronavirus and me getting a new job with, the timing is impeccable. But
wow, so was the job originally supposed to be an online gig, or was it?
Oh no, it's an office job. It's an office job. So they they sent us home, and we've been working from home for the last month or so. So, and we probably will be doing so until September, maybe August or September. But that's okay. We're here. We're alive.
Yeah, alive
Thankful.
Is a great place to start.
Isn't it? I'm going to, I was going back and forth. I got some new songs that I've been working on. One of the songs is called Why. And there's another song I'm working on called Crimes Against Humanity, which is a little deep. I think I'm going to do Why, because Why has more of a solution. So I'm going to share this with you.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Why do we cry? We cry to heal. Why do we heal? We heal to learn. Why won't we learn to love one another, to love without pain? Why do we hate? We hate because we're taught to. Why do we fight? We fight because of fear. What are we? What are we afraid of? Is it the night or the rising of the dawn? Well, the truth is before our eyes now. Call them facts without fear. Let us be brave. Let us be strong now and sing our songs together. Why do we sleep? We sleep because we're tired. Why are we tired? We're tired of the lies that's been told, that wear us down, making our spirits underground. Well, the truth is before our eyes now. All them facts without fear. Let us be brave. Let us be strong now and sing our songs together. Yeah. Why do we cry? We cry to heal. Why do we heal? We heal to learn. Why won't we learn to love one another, to love without pain? Who are we? We are people of the earth. Who are we? We're of water and sky. Who are we? We're a loving people. And we're golden and will not be denied. Now you know why. Yeah. Now you know why.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lindsey Wilson. My father's hometown, Brooklyn, New York. Hope to see you again.
So much,
Thank you
for listening.
Take care there. And we will move on to somebody else in the Northeast there. Pat Lamana, or your mic is muted, it looks like. Is that? Yeah, there we go. Excellent. Pat Lamana, great to have you back. You're our first return guest on the open mic. And Bernard Puckett in London it will be up next, another return guest. And yeah, there's our housekeeping announcement for the moment. And how have you been past week?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good, thank you. Yeah, yesterday was a gorgeous day up here.
Good.
And we had a beautiful walk in the woods. It was also Pete Seeger's birthday.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to change the subject and do a song I wrote about Pete many years ago.
That sounds like a welcome thing, changing the subject here. I'm not really tired of hearing about viruses, but changing the subject sounds good.
I've written already a couple of virus parodies, but there's so many of them. And every time I think of doing another one, I hear another great one that somebody else did. And I said,
we just, not that we don't need more, but I don't know that I can add to the wonderful selection that just keeps growing and growing. So I wrote this actually around Pete's 70th birthday, so a long time ago. But and I hope people will sing along, because how can you not sing along to a song about Pete Seeger? And the chorus goes like this. Keep him singing, keep him singing, keep that old guitar and banjo ringing. He hears our voice, he sings our song. Keep him singing by singing along. So you can join in on that part, or just the keep him singing part if you don't get the rest of it. I'll tell you of a man, Pete Seeger is his name. His music and folk singing have earned him much fame. And I'll tell you a story about the life that he's led. The road he has taken, few may dare to tread. So keep him singing, keep him singing, keep that old guitar and banjo ringing. He hears our voice, he sings our song. Keep him singing by singing along. In this land of the free, he took many a bold stand and found himself in prison from stage and TV band. But still he never wavered from the course he felt was right. He kept his light shining like a beacon in the night. So keep him singing, keep him singing, keep that old guitar and banjo ringing. He hears our voice, he sings our song. Keep him singing by singing along. Like a redwood in the forest, he stands so proud and tall, for peace, love, justice, and dignity for all. Now some songs come and go, and some you outgrow, but his songs, like the river through our lives, will ever flow. So keep him singing, keep him singing, keep that old guitar and banjo ringing. He hears our voice, he sings our song. Keep him singing by singing along. I'll tell you of a man, Pete Seeger is his name. His music and folk singing have earned him much fame. And I'll tell you a story about the life that he's led. The road he has taken, we all may dare to tread. So keep him singing, keep him singing, keep that old guitar and banjo ringing. He hears our voice, he sings our song. Keep him singing by singing along.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Pat LaManna.
Thank you for doing this.
Oh, pleasure.
Great open mic. Just, you're right. One of the
quality,
best I've ever seen.
Really,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hope to see you next week.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you. And we have more fantastic quality guests coming right up, including one of my very favorite hosts of Folk Club, which also resembles an open mic, except they don't call it that. And after Bernard Puckett, we have the great Dave Lippman, and then another returning guest, Per Andreasen, from who doesn't live in Denmark but actually lives in Utah, even though his last name is Andreasen, and then Beverly Woods and Chris Coolidge. And I'm looking down here, and I can't read very well, so that's why it looks like I'm squinting, because I'm squinting. And Joni Callum and Tim. Why can't I read that? Tim Hollins. I think I need to wash my screen. And and if you are, and then if you've been a guest, then you can watch in a different platform to make room for the guests coming in the green room here, in the virtual green room. You can watch the open mic, for example, right here at davidrovics.com/POMM. And you can also sign up for next week's open mic there at davidrovics.com/POMM, Pandemic Open Mic Mondays. There's a screen, which is twitch.tv/davidrovics is what's actually embedded there, but it's a Twitch screen, and you can watch the open mic there. And if you want to join the open mic, then you sign in with that link that I sent you. And if you didn't get a link, then it's because you didn't sign up for the open mic, in which case you can do that at that website that's on the screen now, davidrovics.com/POMM. And then I'll see you at the open mic next week, which I look forward to already. And that was another housekeeping announcement. And now... where were we? Moving on to our next wonderful guest, skipping across the pond again to London. Here we are.
Hello,
Bernard Puckett.
David.
How have you been?
I'm good. We're pretty good here. The weather's very nice. It's sort of springtime. But we're all okay. I'm going to say in the care home around the corner, a carer, a young single parent mother, died of COVID-19. So it is about in London town. But we personally haven't come across anyone or anything. So people are wearing masks and things, but the whole for whatever reason, but it's not compulsory. But we're able to go for a walk every day, and I can go for a cycle ride. I can get out to the countryside really from here.
That's nice.
So,
we actually live right next to a care home here, and I just have no idea what's going on in there. It's kind of a creepy feeling to not know, because you don't see people gathering anymore. They used to all get together for lunch every day, and now it's always dark. But there's people in there. They're just kept in their rooms.
Yeah. Well, as one's age creeps up on one, and one sort of starts to move into sort of the zone, so it's all a bit scary. If I can give a plug for the Islington Folk Club and our Trad to Mad competition.
Oh, Trad to Mad! This is still going on. Where can people?
Well, there's another month. We've just had April, and we've got all the end. We've got 7 entries for April, including Per from Michigan, or a place starting with an M up in the north of America.
Probably Michigan or Minnesota, one or the other.
Minnesota, I think, yeah. So,
and this is people can find out about at Islington Folk Club. If they look for that, then they'll find out about Trad to Mad.
And then look, the Trad to Mad competition, and basically we've got one running every month. So it's basically sing your song unaccompanied, bung it on YouTube, and send us a link. So that's going on to keep us alive of something happening.
Trad to Mad, excellent.
And I've got a song basically from 1990, which sounds quite cozy, but I won't give the game away. The things to note is that my son is now 29 years old. and the song alludes to when he was a small boy. And you will notice there's a cassette machine. I think most people will remember one time when music was played on cassettes a long time ago. So this is called Metal Box Loaded. Metal box loaded and ready to go with Mummy and Daddy and a baby called Joe. We're heading for the country where everything's green, the sky is blue and the air is clean. We're leaving the city with its dirty, dirty streets, its pubs and its clubs where the urban heart beats. Keys with the neighbours so the cats are fed. I've cancelled the papers, the milk and the bread. Ooh, vacances. Ooh, bon vacances. We'll play some Scrabble, we'll do a jigsaw, won't watch much TV, that's one big bore. We'll make love when the boy's in bed, might even get that good book read. Dishwasher running so everything's clean. Old Neil Young on cassette machine. Wine in the bottle, lager in the can. Review the day and make a plan. Ooh, vacances. Ooh, bon vacances. Good pub, good garden and railway guide. 2-star borders, steam train ride. There's cows and goats and sheep to see. The rare breed pigs, the thing to be. Made a picnic of cheese and ham. Today Joe thinks he's Fireman Sam. Sent a postcard to Uncle T. Bought a plant for Auntie B. Ooh, vacances. Ooh, bon vacances. Won't talk much about factory farms or where the MOD stores its arms. Fox on the run, fish on the line, chemical sprays, open cast mines. Metal box loaded and ready to go with Mummy and Daddy and a baby called Joe. Hope the house and the cat's okay. No one's broken while we're away. Ooh, vacances. Ooh, bon vacances. Ooh, vacances. Thank you.
What did I do here?
I think we've got 3 shots.
What did I do here?
Thank you, David. Bye-bye.
Oh,
get rid of me.
Yeah, hello. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Thank you so much, Bernard. Oh my goodness. I'm having technical issues, but I'll figure this out eventually. And we are gonna bring in I'm just trying to figure out who was it I just brought in there on that. Now he's gone. Whoever that was, please come back. My goodness, I didn't even know what happened there. But you looked very familiar, and I only saw you for a moment. If you're there, stay there. If you're not there, come back. And there's room for more people out there. But the next person we have on the second pandemic open mic with the technical things that I'm working out is Dave Littman. Dave Littman, and then Per Andreasen, and then Beverly Woods, Chris Coolidge, Joni Callum. That's who we got in the. And there, good. Tim Hollins. That was Tim Hollins, and yeah, and then Stephen McRandall. Yeah, good. We're all set and happening here, and now I want to bring in somebody who whose music I first heard Oh, and there's with 3 people again. There's Tim, but I mean, I'm just not okay. I'm trying to get Dave here, though. We'll get back to Tim, and here we go. There we go, Dave. Okay, 3, 4. Now we got 2. Good. Okay, that's what I was. And you're on phone, are you, Dave?
Are you hearing me?
Now I'm hearing you. If I stop talking, I can hear you.
What a trick! Oh my God, I gotta try that. My wife told me that once a day. Apparently my camera doesn't work. Right?
No. Yeah, but it's a nice picture, and we can hear you. So that's the main thing.
Just kind of pick up their computers or phones and jog them up and down a little, and then the picture moves.
There we go. And where in the world are you now, Dave?
Oh, I'm way out west of those Brooklyn people. I'm over in Manhattan.
Oh, great. Yeah. And what floor are you on in Manhattan?
8th floor. I'm actually, if I look out the window at the city housing across the street, that's where my grandmother grew up, but she moved about 75 years ago. No, she moved 95 years ago. So I guess she's not, it's not her house anymore.
Did she move to Brooklyn?
Bronx.
The Bronx. Uh-huh.
This part of Harlem used to be full of my relatives, and then they all left and they went to about 5 different directions, if there are 5 directions.
I think so, right? There's 5 boroughs anyway, right?
That's the American ingenuity. They just invent a new direction and go there.
In Portland, we have a new district of town. There's now 6 districts, but I guess it's sort of a new direction. But so how did your career fall apart in the past few weeks, and what are you doing with your life now?
Well, I play mostly around New York anyway, and I do a lot of work at home also, recording, and I've been making a series of videos of my travels, which are sort of political, cultural, historical, geological, sort of, when you get to be my age, David, you'll never get that far. Oh, yes, you will.
And you've been writing a whole lot of wonderful satire as well, like takeoffs on. I guess that's is that what it's called? What's it called when you do that, right? When you
I never figure out the difference between a takeoff and a send up. Nobody will tell me.
I never knew either, right? But you take these old songs and turn them into something that relevant and modern, and you seem to put out about one every other day or so. I feel ashamed at your level of productivity.
Well, and I've never seen so many songs or heard so many songs in a row on one topic ever. And we had one song today about Kent State.
No, that's true.
So
it's about time.
I'm going to do another COVID song.
Oh, excellent.
Because I don't have a Kent State song.
I already posted a Kent State song earlier, but I just figure it's I mean, it's the 50th anniversary, but it's quite a time to have a 50th anniversary about anything other than.
They had a memorial, an hour-long thing online somewhere that I don't know where. It's up there as my mother would say, it's on the computer.
Yeah.
Oh. So there's a dispute over the origin of this tune. Some people are saying that Bella Ciao was originally a Yiddish tune. That's what Henry Sapoznik says. And some people say it was never a partisan song, but in fact, it was a complaining or protesting song of the women who were working in the rice fields in northern Italy. And then it became differently political. And then, of course, everybody's rewritten it since. So, mine might be one of the more recent ones. We're isolating, but we're not waiting. If we unite for what's right, we will win this fight. Come Facebook likers, you could be strikers. Then you'll really have some friends. If you can't tell, this was written for May Day. We know we're misled, and some are not fed. We know that food, health, and housing are human rights. Government's viral, a downward spiral. This system's clinically insane. Essential workers out on the front lines. Meanwhile, the Congress is bailing out oil tycoons, tax cuts for wealthy. This is not healthy. The table turning day has come. All work we're stopping, no going shopping. We know Amazon workers are suffering dismal conditions. Hey, politicians, tell us which side are you on? We lack finances. Here's what our stance is. If we have no work or we won't pay our rent, you can't evict us. You won't afflict us. We're clicking like on strike today. System is breaking. The crooks are quaking. We can survive, we can thrive. Tell the landlord if there's no paycheck, then there's no rent check. So just back off at least 6 feet. Prisons for poor folk whose bail they revoke. We won't die in your jails while your system fails. We say the state must decarcerate us. The president can have my cell. For living wages, health for all ages. We must create a much greater democracy. We're gonna build a better future, and we're gonna start right now. We're gonna build a better future, and we're gonna start right now.
Fantastic, Dave Lippman. Fantastic. That was exactly what I'm talking about. A perfect example of exactly the phenomenon to which I was referring. And Dave is the most prolific creator of so many other songs that are just as good as that one. That was wonderful.
Thank you, David.
Look him up on YouTube.
I don't want to see anybody stealing my work there. Copy left.
See you soon here on the open mic, I hope.
Thank you.
Take care. And coming right up right away from, I believe, you're in Utah somewhere. Per Andreasen? No, why did I think Utah?
Minnesota.
That's somebody, Minnesota. I was kind of like, okay, not exactly in the ballpark, but
Midwest.
No, it was somewhere closer to Utah than me anyway. Yeah.
We're actually, bit of socialist geography. We're right across the river from the Dakota Made Flour Mill, the state-owned flour mill that a bunch of farmers and socialist agitators and whatever got put in, and then immediately, of course, the conservatives took credit for it, and it's been a state-run flour mill ever since. Does good work, and means we're not short on bread flour during this pandemic, so that's nice.
Wild. Yeah, and that whole history of cooperatives around there. Yeah.
They've got a state-run bank too, so it's North Dakota's a good state to get loans in that are less predatory than normal.
Yeah. It's interesting how many connections there are between also North Dakota and Scandinavia, because you find those kinds of state-run institutions and cooperatives in Denmark very commonly as well.
Yeah. And it's amazing how many absolutely red state Trump voting folks swear by their state bank and their state flour mill. So
bizarre.
I'm working on a song about that, but I'm not gonna. It's not done now. So,
what you got for us today?
So this is a song that I wrote. I wrote it a while ago, before the pandemic was even a flicker, but I feel like it's taken on some new meaning as our various apocalypses have coalesced around us.
Excellent.
Drinking coffee with someone you used to know. Sunday morning seeking shelter from the storm. Scattering seeds you wait to see which ones will grow. The steam on your windows beginning to take form. Two reckless hands that wanna hold gently. There's a half pack of cigarettes there standing sentry. Days like these I just wanna sit and talk, as the tentacled horrors emerge from their holes. dangle our feet off the edge and take stock. Spin sidewalk preachers around by their stoles and pray that the shape of the world to come is a little more gentle than this we escaped from. I see diamonds in the broken glass, the dying grass of vacant lots, hear the echo of days gone past through the rust and rot. We wander down that apocalypse beat in molten glass oranges and campfire blues, where the ghosts of the lives that we'd meant to lead bow down to the ones that we choose. And when we're exhausted, then none of this matters, and will all of us cling to each other's tatters. I see diamonds in the broken glass, the dying grass of vacant lots, hear the echo of days gone past through the rust and rot. And I'm not afraid of going outside, I'm just scared of opening doors. And I'll do whatever it is you decide, as long as you tell me what it's all for. I see diamonds in the broken glass, the dying grass of vacant lots, hear the echo of days gone past through the rust and rot. I see diamonds in the broken glass, the dying grass of vacant lots, hear the echo of days gone past through the rust and rot. 1 second.
Lovely, lovely. I wasn't sure if those little kids there were on your side or my side, because my 4-year-old is making an espresso for me right now.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Oh, he's a really good barista.
It's good. I will say my ability to make a cup of coffee has gotten me more jobs than just about anything else. So.
Yeah, much better than a college degree.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, my degree is in storytelling, so yeah, you can guess how much money I make.
Are you doing any storytelling online by chance, or any online activities like that you got?
No, I mean mostly I've transitioned to the singer-songwriter thing, because it turns out if you stand on a corner and play a song at people, mostly they don't call the cops.
Right.
Whereas if you just start talking,
no,
people give you real, it's not great.
You need to have a phone in your hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Or a guitar making space. But
yeah.
But yeah, you can find me online. Mostly I play under the name The Tom O'Bedlam. Which I can type into the
what?
Here.
Yeah,
the Tom O'Bedlam.
Oh, let's see. You know how to edit that? I don't know how to edit that. If I knew how to spell that, I could type it. But
well, I just typed it into the chat here.
In the chat. Let's see. Wait, I'm going to get all high tech here. Let's see. How did no, it's not showing up in the private chat. Maybe it shows up. Huh?
Yes.
There it is. Look at that. Look at that. Here we go. I'm gonna do a very high tech maneuver here, which is not a very high tech.
Everyone, buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up. Look at that. Hey.
That's how you can find me on Bandcamp. I've got a album on there called The Starry Plow. That's full of it's songs that I wrote with a friend of mine in New Mexico. He's a great folkie. And I was trying to get him to sign up for this open mic, but it didn't happen. So I'm going to keep working on it.
Yeah, good. Next time. We're doing it every Monday. Oh, thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, Per. See you soon. And I cut him off there, but okay, I'm trying. And we have coming right up imminently right now, we have Beverly Woods. And wait a sec, where'd that go? Oh, there you are. Yeah, Beverly.
There, I've
excellent.
unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Wonderful. And headphones.
Great.
Excellent. Excellent. What part of the world are you in now?
I'm in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
So
Great. So
a week
2,000
ago
miles to the
today it
east.
was snowing. So it's
yeah.
now spring.
When it's snowing, it's easier to be quarantined.
Well, there is that, but then you expect, to get inside at some point with other people, and then that's not happening, of course. So
yeah.
Anyway,
have you been doing much songwriting?
I have, and I've got your choice, 1 or 2 pandemic-related songs I could do.
Oh, fantastic! Here. We have a multitude of pandemic songs. Fantastic.
Oh, well, pandemic open mic. Plus I process everything by writing a song about it. So anyway,
it turns out we're all we all have that in common. Who knew?
That's right.
Great. I'll turn it over to you. Another pandemic song, please. Wonderful.
Great. And a shout out to all my friends, some of whom I haven't seen for decades from People's Music. Bev Grant, I did see a couple years ago up here. But hi, Charlie, and everybody else that I haven't seen for such a long time. Anyway, so this is your basic cheerful pandemic song. Oh, my friends, I'm sorry to say I've got the blues again. The presidency, just a tiny bit confused again. Well, I want to answer my country's call, but I draw the line at shooting up Lysol. Oh, my friend, getting those blues again. Oh, my friends, don't you think it's time we had some fun again? I'm gonna spend my day lying out in the sun again as soon as it stops snowing. Well, the president says, and he must be right, that we can kill that virus with UV light. Oh, my friends, I'm getting those blues again. Oh, my friends, I swore I wouldn't turn on the news again. But somehow I did. Somehow the president's confused again. Well, live and let live, each for each, but please don't start in drinking bleach. Oh, my friends, getting those blues again. Oh, my friends, please enjoy the song while you can. 'Cause in a day or two, more loads of manure are gonna hit the fan. You know what they say, forget and forgive. I'll be back with more tips if you'd like to live. Oh, my friends, getting those blues again. I said I've got those old, I'm not a doctor blues again. So that was my
fantastic
I'm Not a Doctor blues, which you can find on YouTube. Do I have time to do another one? You have a lot of people.
Oh, we're doing a one song format for this one. When I first emailed you, it was a 2-song thing, and now I turned it into 1 song because we got quite a bunch of participants. But come back next week.
And then it goes on for 10 hours, which is
exactly right. I figured
much.
2 hours is like a good length, and at the rate we're getting people signing up, then that worked. That seemed to work.
Great.
Yeah, but please come back next week if you would.
If I'm able to,
you're free,
I will.
Great.
And
Beverly
you can
Woods.
find me online at beverlywoods.net.
Beverlywoods.net. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you, Beverly Woods. And we have coming right up Chris Coolidge, and then Joni Callum, and then Tim Hollins, and Stephen McRandall. And then Joel Landy will close out the open mic for us. And this is working brilliantly with the timing. You'd almost think I had done this before, but I only did it once, at least online. But lovely. This is Pandemic Open Mic Mondays. If you want to sign up for a future open mic, then you can find the sign-up sheet right there at davidrovics.com/POMM. Pandemic Open Mic Mondays, and then other days of the week on this platform, whatever platform you're watching on Popular Resistance's Facebook page and elsewhere. I will be interviewing various people. Tomorrow I'll be interviewing Mike Africa Jr. from Philadelphia, and here we have coming right up is Chris Coolidge. Chris, there you are.
There I am.
Great to have you. Great to have you with us here. Where are you? Where am I talking to you from?
Williston, Vermont.
Ah, Vermont. Wonderful. So we're covering various parts of New England. And where is that? Northern Vermont, or where's Williston?
Yeah, I'm just down the road from Burlington.
Lovely.
Just go down Williston Road 2 miles, and you're in Burlington.
So you were Bernie Sanders' neighbor. My claim to fame is he used my microphone in 1998, I think, at an electrical workers rally.
Well, I happen to know where he lives.
Uh-huh.
Not that I care.
Right.
He's entitled to his privacy like anybody else.
Right. You don't need to go shout at him or anything. Yeah, excellent. What do you got for us today? How's quarantine treating you?
Well, I have a little social distancing song that I wrote about a month ago, and it's my way of processing things. And
excellent.
And I have 2 bands in hiatus, basically. I had a band in the '80s called Welcome Home, and I ran into the 2 other surviving members at a funeral, and we talked about getting together. This was back in February, and then in the meantime, I've also been rehearsing with a local band called Northern Comfort. That's kind of a reference to maple syrup. That's what we call maple syrup sometimes here in Vermont. Northern Comfort.
Excellent.
So both bands are on hiatus, unfortunately, but Northern Comfort does have a show booked at the Richmond 4th of July parade. Richmond's a town about 5 miles down the road from here, so I haven't heard gigs off yet. So hopefully it's still happening.
Right. I still have gigs in June that haven't been canceled yet. I'm kind of hopeful, maybe. Not
so really. Hopefully I'll be playing this song after the parade.
Yeah, excellent.
That'll be its fully live debut. So such as it is.
Wonderful.
Whenever you're ready.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
What else is social distancing for? Welcome to the grocery store. I know I have to go home and stay. I'll send you love from 6 feet away. Love from a distance. Don't get too close. Love from a distance. Return the favor, I suppose. Cover up your mouth and nose. I'm rather sniffy, I got allergies. Let's stay away when I have to sneeze. Love from a distance. Don't get too close. Love from a distance. I'd like to take you in my arms, protect you from all fear and harm. Feel my breath in your fresh washed hair, but I know I can't go there. I'm standing by you in the checkout line. You've got your groceries, take your time. You're my special checkout friend, and I hope to see you again. Love, love from a distance. Don't get too close. Love, love from a distance. Love, love from a distance. Don't get too close. Love, love from a distance.
Yeah. That has, I think, pop hit potential right there.
Rather mid-80s. That's kind of what I had in mind.
I think so. Yeah.
I kind of have it in mind for my old band Welcome Home to do.
Yeah.
If we manage to get back together.
Yeah. That could be a real, yeah, definitely. Excellent. Wonderful. Chris Coolidge, thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be here.
And Joni Callum and Tim Hollins, Stephen McRandall, and Joel Landy is who we got coming up for the remainder of this, what has been a really very high quality open mic. And let me just bring Joni Callum to the screen here. Joni, great to have you. Where are you in the world?
Joni Callum, first of all.
Calum. I was going back and forth with that. It's kind of Rovics. Yeah, Calum. Excellent.
An Ellis Island name. So
yeah. It was it. Do you know what it was before? And they before it became Calum?
It was my husband's grandfather who came over, and it was Kellen. And the Ellis Island people thought that there were too many people named Kellen, so.
Yeah,
they thought Calum sounded more American, and okay,
it sounds vaguely Irish, but yeah, who knows?
Yeah, and really not.
No, it could have been the worker. The Ellis Island guy was maybe Irish.
Maybe, yeah. I live in Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I'm gonna sing and leave because I gotta teach in 12 minutes. But this is great. Thank you so much for
online.
Yes. You've been asking everybody, so 70% of my work is gone because that was performances and doing song circles as music therapy with people who have history of homelessness, and a lot of school gigs and a lot of preschool shows. So all of that's gone. But I'm very happy that I wear multiple musical hats because my private teaching I've been able to put online. So mostly with FaceTime, just because Zoom is so weird with music that sometimes it sounds okay and sometimes it just sounds horrible.
There's a trick that I heard is disabling audio processing for anybody out there who is trying to do music through Zoom. That Ben Grosscup with People's Music Network, he let me know about that trick, which is also a great trick for this platform we're using too, to make the guitar sound better.
Yeah. So I do that. I bought the external mic. I disabled, but the problem is on my students' end. That I can't make them go out and get a $200 mic.
No.
So FaceTime, so online teaching, and I'm very grateful for online teaching because I have a little bit of an income now.
Yeah. Where can people find out about your teaching in case there's somebody in some other part of the world who's like, hey, I want to.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Now it can be anywhere.
Do you have any new students from other parts of the world?
Not yet, but I've been mentioning it. Hey, folks. So I have a website. It's jonikalem.com. Super easy.
Cool.
And I've got a Joni Callum for kids music website, Facebook page, and then my adult music page, which is where I put all my political stuff. So
wonderful.
So this is, as Pear said, this is not a COVID-19 song, but it does, and I wrote it many years ago, and it's not funny, and I apologize, but it's it is about all the inequities that we are seeing very much now. So it's called Just Trying to Get Home. It was just bad timing to be standing in line at that New York entry port. It was 2 days after a bomb had gone off and everyone was afraid of their sort. Her covered head, his short cropped beard, and the names no one could pronounce. Blonde, cold-eyed border patrol, happy to pounce. They hadn't done anything wrong, just rode the plane, just trying to get home. It had been a long, long day. It was just bad timing to be driving along under that pretty spring sky. It was 2 days after a cop had been killed. Tensions were running high. His dark skin, his young face, the car with the rattling plates, police cruiser driving by, full of fear and hate. He hadn't done anything wrong, just driving his car, just trying to get home. It wasn't very far. It was just bad timing to lose her baby and be bleeding in that hospital door. It was 2 days after a new law had passed there on the state Congress floor. All alone, needing help, being woman her only crime. Politicians playing doctor and God like medieval times. She hadn't done anything wrong, just needed some care, just trying to get home. She was all alone and scared. Call it racism, call it profiling, call it maybe class war. It's an ancient habit of othering, and it's not okay anymore. They hadn't done anything wrong, just their timing was bad. We gotta put the hatred aside, it's the worst habit we have.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Joni.
Thanks, David. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah. Have a good teaching session. No worries. See you again soon.
Okay.
And we have 3 more guests. I don't know. Was it a guest or participants? Tim Holland, Stephen McRandall, and Joel Landy. And here on the screen with me again on purpose. Hey, Tim, how are you?
I'm very well indeed, Dave. Very well.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you got an accordion there with you.
This is the accordion, yes.
Excellent.
The Wurlitzer, as somebody called it.
Excellent. Wurlitzer. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Is that a company? Wurlitzer is a company.
No, Wurlitzer is a massive big organ in the cinema. So it's a Wurlitzer on your chest.
Okay. There was a music store in Boston near the Berklee College of Music called Wurlitzer. So I just assumed it was just that, but it has a history there. And
absolutely,
are you
well,
over?
I'm a one-man accordion preservation society or something.
Oh, excellent. Accordion Preservation Society. Excellent. And it looks like a well-preserved accordion as well. And are you in England or Scotland, or where are you now?
I'm in Birmingham, in the centre of England, just around the corner from Dave Rogers and Banner Theatre. In fact,
excellent.
In the same kind of political song networks as Dave and Pam Bishop and Graham Langley and others.
Oh, great.
The Sing Political Network. So
Sing Political. Wonderful. And how's your life under quarantine? Have you had lots of gigs
Well,
canceled?
it's evolving, I think. Yeah, we were due to have a May Day social in our little local community centre, which we do kind of political music socials in every 2 or 3 months with Banner Theatre and refugee musicians. Loads of other people come along. And of course, we couldn't do that. So we thought, well, what do we do? Should we cancel or should we try and do it on Zoom? So we did it on Zoom, and it was brilliant. It worked really, really well.
Excellent.
And yeah, and what I think got really quite emotional about was that all of a sudden that we had friends from Chile, friends from Canada, Brazil, Spain, and Italy all coming to our May Day social on Zoom. So that was kind of we felt a real kind of togetherness and
nice
some
little
kind of
silver
unity
lining
in distancing.
Yeah, great. What do you got for us today?
So, well, I was going to do a song, a parody of "Those Were the Days," but I got beaten to it at the beginning of the session, so I thought I'll go to my reserve. Which is
that's funny. We could have another parody of "Those Were the Days." That was earlier in the open mic, near the beginning.
I'll do that later. It hasn't got the accordion on it because I can't play it yet. So.
Great.
So yeah, this is a folk song, a Scottish folk song. And it's called The Wild Mountain Time, and it's about lots of different things. And it's about the turning of the seasons, the coming of the summer, the beauty of wild nature and of wild flowers, of love and loss and new love. And of course, at the end, it's about coronavirus as well. Oh, the summertime is coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming, and the wild mountain thyme grows around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? I will build my love a bower by yon pure crystal fountain, and on it I will pile all the flowers of the mountain. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to the wild mountain time all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? If your true love had to leave, then I hope you'll find another to pull wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? When this lockdown time is done, then we'll all go together to the wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? Yes, we'll all go together to a wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go?
Yeah. I love that ending. That's so good. Yeah, excellent. It's very evokes the very feeling of the song, the idea that we might someday be back in crowded conditions.
Yeah, exactly. We have to. It's a song of the future. We'll all go together.
Yeah, all look together. Thank you so much, Tim Hollins. See you again at one of these open mics, I hope.
See you again. Yeah. Absolutely.
Good. Excellent.
See you in.
Oops. You were just saying something.
I just said see you in Sing Political maybe, Dave, on Zoom.
Yeah. I'll join one of those definitely soon. Yeah. Take care. Bye. And now we have Stephen McRandall. Stephen McRandall. Hey, thanks for being so patient. How are you?
I'm grand. Cheers. How's yourself?
Not bad at all. And alive, healthy, And where are you in the world now? Are you around there too?
In Dublin at the moment.
Dublin.
I live in Dublin here, yeah.
Ah, wonderful.
And I'm still, above ground and still out of prison, which I think is a great cause for celebration.
Above ground and out of prison. Yes, that's always the prison, especially now, it would not be a good place to be. The pandemic is just. Have you been hearing about what's going on in the prisons around there in Ireland? Are there is there much of infection?
I haven't really heard, David. I'm sorry.
No?
I'm not really clued up on what's happening here. We do a bit of protesting. I guess they've stopped evictions, but other than that, that's the only protest. I go around and stop evictions. And they try and shove the landlords around here, try and shove people about.
It's awful. Yeah. How is that going as far as anti-eviction stuff around Dublin?
There's nothing happening at the moment. They're not trying to evict anybody at the moment, but they just try and push their luck. And if a crowd of people turn up, they back down as a rule. You know what I mean?
They do.
Yeah, as a rule.
But right now there's a suspension on evictions?
Yeah, as far as I know, there's nothing. Nobody's getting evicted at the moment, As far as I know.
What kind of crowd shows up when before the pandemic, when there's an eviction? What kind of crowd shows up that makes the police back down?
It doesn't take that many. Well, it depends, who. If you get any press involved, of course, they don't like it. I mean, what I'm talking about is like landlords that are just they're being illegal. You know what I mean? They just kind of heavy people out, try and shove people out, and sometimes go into their houses and stuff like that. So we just turn up at that type of scenario, and they back down right sharpish. It's a group called Dublin Central Housing Action. I mean, I think there's a few others, but that's the one that I would have anything to do with, or go out with a few times,
Right. Yeah. Good. And how's quarantine treating you? How's it affected your life?
Well, it's like I've written in this free story. It doesn't affect my life a lot. I spend a lot of time on my own anyway. So I don't know.
You're well adapted.
Yeah.
So you got to let's hear this story. I'm gonna solo you, and I'm looking forward to hearing it. Yes.
I hope you enjoy it. The effects of COVID on me in Dublin. I spend a lot of time on my own these days anyway. So COVID doesn't affect me much. It affects me a little. My herb supplies have been interrupted. My man can't travel into town, and I have to go around the flat scoring off kids. Scoring off the kids reminds me of when I was a kid, going down the front line to score a £2 wrap. That's how I used to score in London, in Brixton, on Railton Road. I was living on Effort Parade at the time. Not that I come from Brixton. I come from Belfast, but a lot of lads from Belfast went to London in the 70s. I was one of them. Belfast in the 70s was a fearful place. I came from the Ormo Road, not the lower Ormo, but the upper. We were like lower middle class. We had inside toilets and baths and little stamp-sized gardens in front of our houses. Friends from school coming up from the markets of the Strand said, "This is really posh." The upper Ormo was mostly prods, but there was half a dozen Teague families on our street. People used to come up from the markets to get baths. My mother came from the markets. Her dad was a Jew, a refugee from the May laws the Tsar imposed over his territory, which included Lithuania, where my granddad, Louis Glasser, was born. Louis landed as a babe in arms in Cork around 1900. In 1922, the Free State Army borrowed some big guns off the British Army and shelled the forecourts in Dublin, where the Republican Army was making a last stand. On a political level, this act established the Free State government. On a personal level, it destroyed all the birth and death records of the time. So it allowed my grandfather to claim that he had been born in Ireland. And since the Brits ruled all of Ireland at the time of his birth, my grandfather was now entitled to a Brit passport. He married a Catholic woman from the markets in Belfast, and his last child, Renee, was born in 1933. She was wooed by a man above her station, and they were married and had 4 kids. I was one of them. So my dad was actually a middle-class dropout, who, when he was married, was given a small house for him and his young wife. I was born there, so they tell me, in the back bedroom. He had high ideals and dreams of self-sufficient communes, but ended up working in the slaughterhouse. He hated it. He died when I was 6 years and 3 months. Before I was 6 years and 4 months, I came home from school to see a for sale sign in our stamp-sized garden. My father's father had official ownership of our home and put it up for sale. Well, Renee was from the markets, and her dad was a Jew and a refugee, and I guess there's no blood thicker than a couple of quid. Not the type of thing a young, recently widowed mother of 4 under 10-year-olds is meant to have to deal with, but she dealt with it. We all got raised and fed and clothed. My 3 sisters did okay. I became the junkie bum of the family. I didn't seem to stay in one place for too long. England, back to Belfast. Holland, back to Belfast. Wales, back to Belfast. One time I was back, was that many Brits and pigs and UDR, not to mention the ununiformed armed thugs who thought that they had the right to stop people smoking dope, swarming the streets. The dope smoking had practically dried up. And here was me, back for Xmas, smokeless. There had been some talk of someone going down to Dublin, but when the time came, they chickened out. I wasn't going to go without a smoke, so I said I would take people's money, and off I went, hitching down across the border to Dublin, wearing bright yellow cowboy boots with magic mushrooms drawn on them, and the price of an ounce and a half in my pocket. I didn't even have an address. Get off at the terminus of a number 33 bus, and it's the corner house in a cul-de-sac. That was my complete directions. We saw a freak girl get off the bus at the terminus, and she went into a corner house in a cul-de-sac. I followed her. Her name was Helen, and she said to remember her as Helen of Troy. A few hours later, I came out of the house grinning like a savior. Next day, back in Belfast, I had lots of people at my door with money asking if I could repeat the trick, and I did. Lots. So I was the man for a while. I was never very good with money, though. At some point, I went over to London, supposedly to get some of the burnt orange acid that the law had busted in some big operation in Wales, and we're now putting back on the streets in London. I'm not sure exactly how it went, but I ended up getting gear instead. Smack, heroin. By the time I got back to Belfast, I was a bit sick and a bit skint. I did some running back and forth from Dublin to Belfast, punting out homegrown Kerrygold weed. I made some cash back up and decided I had had enough. I handed the business over to a friend and fucked off. A few nights before I went, I met a guy called Mickey Kilfeller. The uncle that raised him was a friend of my father's. He gave me his address in Kaplan Park Estate. I said I was going anywhere but London, but I took his address anyway. On the boat, I met a young woman, Melissa, my future wife, my further future ex-wife. She was going to London, and I thought, what the hell? I don't have to stay there, but it would be a shame to part company with a woman. So I bought a train ticket and accompanied her. That is, I washed down the barbs I had taken for the journey with the liter bottle of Southern Comfort I had bought and promptly fell asleep next to her. In London, I ended up visiting Mickey, who put me up, and not long after that, me and Melissa moved into the squat upstairs. A while after that, we took the squat in Effort Parade. It was there I used to go down and get the £2 twists. My first time there, I edged my way inside the bookies and stood there gawking into the gloom. Out of the shadows came some big, heavy-set black man. "Hey, white boy, what you doing down here?" he asked, and I told him. "I'm looking some herb." He asked me where I came from, and I said Belfast, and he asked if I knew how to make a bomb to blow this Razclad place up. I said I didn't, but I was willing to learn. Brixton wasn't like a proper no-go area. There were no concrete blocks or steel spikes sticking up to stop the law coming in, but it didn't really seem like the law ruled the place either. I remember a bloke dealing on the street on Wilton Road. He was just standing with a big brown bag, making up little pinches of herb and wrapping them up in betting slips. There was a queue of maybe a dozen people. He stopped doing business, and most everybody stopped doing what they were doing just to look at the two policemen walking down the road, those big silly tit hats on their heads. It wasn't like anyone was afraid of them. Everyone just seemed curious as to what the fuck they were doing there. The Dublin kids coming up on their little electric scooters with the pre-packed little baggies in 2020 are living in a different world from the kids in Brixton in the 1970s, but they have similarities too, like defiance and resistance. That's my story. Hello?
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. There's always this delay because it's like I can't just like enter back in when I want to. I have to rely on my lack of coordination first. That was brilliant, Stephen.
Like comrade here.
Hello. I am the daughter.
Hey, the daughter. Wonderful. Good microsecond encounter. Excellent. Wonderful.
Thanks a lot, David. Cheers,
Thanks so much, Stephen.
Thanks a lot for all your music and your games.
Oh,
good
man,
stuff.
thank you. Come back with a story, huh?
I'll write another one for you next week.
Good. Please do. Oh, that'd be fantastic. Yeah. Excellent.
So,
love it. Take care. See you soon.
see you soon.
And closing out this extremely high quality transatlantic open mic, moving back to this side of the Atlantic, but the other side of the country from me, we have in New York, Joel Landy. Where in New York are you? Are you in
Kew Gardens?
You're outdoors somewhere. You're on the roof? Are you on the roof?
No. I'm on the couch with the white wall in the living room behind me.
Ah, okay.
But that door is open and the blinds are open, so the sun's coming in.
Ah, excellent. Very bright. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for your patience. How are you holding up under quarantine?
How am I holding up? Okay, and I'm wondering, there are some people who are really antsy to get outside. Why am I happy to be here? I've got a number of projects I've been meaning to get to, which I still haven't got to, but I have the opportunity to get to, like understanding how this new technology works.
Right.
Like this microphone that I bought. I don't know what I'm doing, but we're getting closer, I think.
What projects have you been working on other than learning how to use technology? Are you doing much with the technology? Many broadcasts and stuff like that?
I do attend the open mics, the People's Music Network open mic, the one that Lindsey was mentioning, the People's Forum, resistance songs, and I've just been a student listening, understanding there's a lot of great music being written these days. So, David, does it take great pain to make great art?
Great pain to make great art? I mean, pain is very helpful. I mean, it's helpful to have experienced the full range of emotions in order to identify with other people's full range of emotions. But I don't think you have to necessarily experience everything that, every form of suffering in order to write about it.
Yeah, and I'd appreciate it if we could have one existential crisis at a time, please.
One at a time. It never works that way. No,
it doesn't. So part of what I do is I have a television show called Songs of Freedom TV. I've been doing it since 1996. It's on public access TV. It's also on the internet, singfreedom.org. I put it on the chat. So
and is it on YouTube? Does it go? I think they go up on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Where can they find youtube.com/Joel Landy? I think something like that.
That's it. Just my name. There's actually another Joel Landy. Not a common name. And he lives in Detroit, and he's an activist, and his father, I actually spoke with him, so there's some kind of we've come from the same place, some place outside of Kiev that, all the Jews got killed, so we ended up
Yep.
Anyway, so I want to thank you for inviting me, and this would not be I was wondering what song to write. I have written COVID songs. Rewriting the Beatles and Bob Dylan and Billy Joel. I am coronavirus and I'm coming to your town. But,
excellent.
But I figured it wouldn't be a David Rovics my introduction to your open mic without referring to the sticker that's in my office that says I'm a better anarchist than you are. But I'm not. And the song says, I never was an anarchist, but one once said to me, to know the truth, all you must do is look at history. All governments are similar. 3 basic rules apply. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, governments die. 3 things you can be sure of, whatever flag you fly. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. Well, there's never been an empire that didn't turn to dust, or tell the truth to everyone, or learn to earn your trust, or coexist with neighbors, or tell their people why. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. They will lie to keep you quiet, then they'll lie to make you loud. They will lie and take your money and tell you to be proud. They will lie on social media with leaders they can't buy. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. 3 things you can be sure of, whatever flag you fly. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. They will send you to kill people as a patriot today, overseas and in your cities, in whatever role you play. Mythology of nation states, can you hear the battle cry? Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. Now, there's a conversation people do not want to hear. All nation states must end someday, as sure as they appear. But we never talk about it. Maybe that's the reason why. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, governments die. Well, 3 things you can be sure of, whatever flag you fly. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, governments die. Governments lie, governments kill, and governments die. 3 things you can be sure of, you cannot deny. Governments lie, governments kill. Governments lie, governments kill, oh, governments lie, governments kill, and governments die.
And that is all for damn sure. Yes, and
you're an inspiration, David. You're an inspiration.
Howard Zinn said it was like if you had to boil everything down to one point, remember the politicians are lying. I think it was something along those lines. They're lying. Excellent. Fantastic. Joel Landy, thanks so much for having me, for being here on the open mic. Hope to see you again soon.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Excellent. Well, folks out there on the internet, this has been Pandemic Open Mic Monday number 2, and the number 3 will be next week. And if you want to sign up, that would be fantastic. And you can sign up right here at davidrovics.com/POMM, Pandemic Open Mic Mondays. I'll put that somewhere else other than my website, but that's where it is for now if you want to sign up. And if you want to support my podcasting and broadcasting efforts in this time that I'm not touring, then feel free to please do that. If you're, one of these gainfully employed people, davidrovics.com/subscribe or patreon.com/davidrovics. You can support my efforts if you would like to do that. And thank you so much for joining me on this open mic. And I will be interviewing Mike Africa Jr. from Philadelphia tomorrow for the Discussions with David series of live stream broadcasts that I'm doing right here on this platform, whatever platform you're watching on, such as the Facebook page of Popular Resistance and elsewhere. I'll be interviewing Mike Africa Jr. tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT. And then on Wednesday, I'll be interviewing AK Press and PM Press founder Ramsey Kanan at the same time, same channel on Wednesday. And then Thursday is going to be a concert for the children, a children's concert. And then Friday, I'll be talking to Jenka Soderberg, one of the folks who was on the ground floor of Indie Media, of the Independent Media Center, and is now working for a long time at KBOO Community Radio here in Portland. And thanks so much for joining the open mic once again. And see you here in the Matrix sometime soon. And remember, don't pay the rent.